child my mother was praying the world be different than the one she was raised in.
Hey family, and welcome back to the channel. Guys, as promised, today we're going to be doing a video on lighting and how you can perfectly light your space, giving you some education on how to select your lighting, on what type of lighting that you would need, how to measure your space for lighting. So this video today is very important if you feel like you have a dark home, or even if you feel like your space is not properly lit. Okay, or maybe you just see something wrong with your space and you don't know what it is. Maybe it's your lighting. So let's get into it. Hey family, if this is your first time seeing me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. On this channel, we talk about interior design, we do lifestyle videos, and we do DIYs. So if that is something you're looking for, go ahead and stick around. Today, you're going to enjoy today's video because it's about interior design and it's very educational. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button, come back, I'll wait on you before I continue, and see you on the other side. Okay guys, like I said, today we're going to be talking about lighting, okay? Okay guys, so there are three major types of lighting. There's task lighting, there's ambient lighting, and there's accent lighting. So now in any space, you want to try to incorporate at least two of these types of lighting. The preferable lighting is that natural light, right? You want to try to have as much natural light into a space as possible. But for those spaces that do not have that natural light, you want to at least have some kind of task lighting or ambient lighting. Now, can those cross over? Yes, they can. They can cross over. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, okay? And then we're going to add another lighting, which is your natural lights. So let's get into it and let's discuss it. So the first one that we're going to talk about is going to be task lighting, okay? So task lighting is basically what it says. If you're doing a task and you need the proper lighting to do that task, that's what task lighting is. So what can be considered as a task lighting? And remember before I say that some can be crossed into the other. So for a task light, let's think about your lights in your kitchen. You need to turn those on so that you can see what you're doing. Your light in your bathroom, you need to turn that on so you can see the makeup you're putting on, if it looks right or not. So because of that, that lighting has to be at a certain quality. We're going to get to that later on. The next lighting that we're going to talk about is accent lighting. And again, it's basically what it says. It's a light that gives accent into the space. So let's think on a lamp that you may have in your space, or a picture light. That's a great accent lighting, just to give you an idea of what accent lighting is. It just creates an accent to whatever you're trying to illuminate, whatever you're trying to give attention to. Let's use that word. Whatever you're trying to give attention to, that's what we will call accent lighting. And then the last one, and the one that I think that creates mood in your space and whatever mood you're trying to create, would be your ambient lighting. So the next one we're going to talk about is your ambient lighting. So your ambient lighting basically is like your general lighting. And that's the one that can cross over into all of the others. So that will be considered like, say, your recessed cans, your chandeliers, your light on your fans, like those type of things. It can like cross over into the others. And we're going to discuss about that a little bit more into this video. But it's basically your natural lighting, okay? That's what ambient lighting is, and it serves as a general light source throughout your space. Okay, now that we basically understand what the different type of lighting, the main three type of lighting are, let's talk about some fixtures that can give you these type of lighting. So let's talk about different type of fixtures and your purpose and your reasoning for placing those different type of fixtures in different spaces. Okay, let's talk about pendant lights. A lot of people get pendant lights like mixed up, and they don't quite understand the usage of pendant lights, nor do they understand how high up a pendant light should be off of a surface. So normally a pendant light is hung over a surface. Okay, so you may have a table, you may have your island. Those are where you would hang a pendant light. Pendant lights are also hung, like say over nightstands. If you want to create that real that different mood, you can place them over your vanity. But the whole concept of a pendant light is that it needs to have a surface under it that it is illuminated. Okay. Then we're gonna get into later on. We're gonna talk about the distance you should have a pendant light from above the surface that it's over. The next lighting that we're going to talk about is architectural lighting. So basically, architectural lighting is a light that's integrated into its structure. So let's say if you want to put it in a ceiling, it's a part of the ceiling. It's not just attached outside of the ceiling, but it's embeveled into the ceiling, if that makes sense. So that's what architectural lighting basically is, and it normally gives off like a soft illuminating ambiance into a space. It's normally very high, it's as high as your ceiling is, or wherever you choose to place it is as high as that. Architectural lighting can also go into walls. So sometimes you'll see a flat surface wall, but then it has like a stream of lighting go down in it. That's also considered architectural lighting. So once it's placed into the structure of the wall, the ceiling, the floors, the doors, like it's architecture, it's considered architectural lighting. Okay, so we're gonna get in deeper to that as well. The next lighting that we're gonna talk about is recessed lighting. So recessed lighting is basically a light that is recessed into the your ceiling. You normally find those in offices, you find them in your kitchens, you can find them throughout your house. But it's those little round lights. You have square one. They come in so many different ways now, but it's recessed into something. So that's what recessed lighting is. Okay, and we're going to get into different ones and how big they are, small, where you should be putting them, how far apart you should put them, and all that. Okay, next type of lighting that we're going to get into is chandeliers. Now, we know chandeliers can get very extreme, along with they can be very simple. So when people most likely see like the simple chandeliers, they don't see those as being a chandelier. Those are the ones that they mix up and call pendants. They're not pendant lights. They are still a chandelier. And I'm going to explain to you why they are considered a chandelier versus being a pendant. Now, chandeliers are just like pendant lights, and they also suspend from the ceilings. The difference between the two is the direction of the light. So for a pendant light, the light is going to shine down, and for a chandelier, your bulbs are normally facing up, so the light shines up. Okay, so that is the difference between the two. Also, for chandeliers, they tend to be more decorative and give a more decorative look into a space versus a pendant light. Chandeliers are definitely available in multiple designs, and they normally is like a statement piece in a room. And sorry about that. They're normally like a statement piece in a room, and they are very good example for ambient lighting and general lighting. The next type of lighting that we're going to discuss is under cabinet lighting. So as it says, it's under cabinet lighting. So these are lighting that you will place underneath of a cabinet, whether it's your kitchen cabinets, in your bathrooms, inside closets, and you need that light to either be an ambient light or you need it as an accent in your kitchen. Or in that space, in a closet. I can't see it being an accent light. It has to be an ambient light because that's the purpose of it, for you to be able to see in the closet what you're seeing. So yeah, it's an ambient light in a closet, but in your kitchen, it can be both. It can be ambient lighting and it can also be an accent light. Now for me, in my kitchen, I have it as an accent light, but we'll get into that later and I'll explain to you the difference. The next type of lighting is called track lights. Now, track lights can be used in a lot of different ways, okay? Track lights can be used to highlight. They're basically used to highlight something. So you want it to be probably pointing to a picture, or you want it to be pointing to a wall. People think that they cannot create ambience with a wall, but you can create ambience with a wall. If the wall has some kind of decorative molding or whatever on it, and you want to highlight that, that would be a perfect place to place a track light. And the good thing with track lights, well, the track lights now is that you can move the light, shift them to whatever position you want to shift them to. You can slide them up and down the track. And that's why it's called a track light, because you put the track up and then you use the actual fixture, you place it in there, and you can move it and turn it to whatever direction you want. So they're very flexible to use, and they're a very good tool when you want to highlight a specific thing in a room or on your structure or whatever. Okay, so that's what we do with track lights. Okay, so the next light that we're going to talk about is wall sconces. So these lights are different from what we have been speaking about, right? Wall sconces, actually you mount them to a wall versus hanging them from a ceiling or mounting them to a ceiling. These are mounted on a wall. Now these lights are mainly would fall in the category of accent lighting. Okay, normally when you have these, you need other light to assist for you to be able to see properly in a space. So yes, you can put like sconces in a bathroom, but you would need more lighting than just that sconce light. Okay, they're very easy to install, and you can now have those with electrical, meaning it has the wiring for them, and you can have them where they're not electrical. They could be battery operated or even plugged. Okay, so they are different type of wall sconces, and we will get into that later. The next light that we're going to talk about is portable lighting. So portable lighting is, I would say, one of the easiest, because it's basically you get a lamp. It probably works off a battery or something. Like you don't need any wiring or anything for it, and you can move it from one space to the other. Okay, so that would be the next type of lighting, and one of the most easiest one, I would say, and a cheaper version as well to any light. So if you have a space where you don't have a plug in that area, like say you want to put it on a table next to a sofa, but the sofa, you don't have any plugs in that floor, or the sofa is not against a wall where you can kind of hide the plug, that is a good option to use a portable light. Let's talk about bulbs. Okay, so when you're selecting your fixtures, you also have to consider your bulbs. What type of bulbs do you want to use? Now there are so much, the vast of bulbs that's available now is crazy. There is so much different styles of bulbs that you can purchase now. LED, fluorescent, incandescent bulbs, halogen bulbs. So these are like, they come in so many different styles that not using the correct one in your fixtures will make the fixtures look completely different. Or that look that you were going for, you didn't get that look because you used the incorrect bulb. Another thing we're going to talk about with fixtures is the base. So we have to remember there are types of bases that lights come with. One of the major ones is medium base. So we're going to get into that so that you would know when you're purchasing any light fixture, you need to read the description and look for what base does that light come from, because it's going to tell you what size bulb you need for your light fixture. Let's talk about pendant lights. Now, pendant lights are vast, right? And you can use pendant lights to do so many things. You can use a pendant light where you just want to illuminate, you want to eliminate, I'm saying that word wrong, right? My accent is not letting me say it. But you want to light up a space. You want to light up a surface. Let's say that, right? You want to light up a surface. So you would use, but you don't want it to distract the beauty of, say, your cabinets or your spaces. Then you can use the glass ones. There's some nice clear glass ones now. You can use those. And the great thing that I love about pendant lights, you can group them. So you can group your pendant lights and even create this drama in your ceiling. You can make them high and low. You can make them at the same level. You can just use one. But I just love when pendant lights are grouped and they create this drama. Okay? Now, with pendant lights, however, you want to always ensure that you give 30 inches from the surface that is it's coming down over up to the bottom of your pendant light. So you don't want your pendant light to be hanging so low to where it's a distraction when you're using that surface. So when you're using that surface, you don't want to be looking directly into a pendant light. So that pendant light needs to be just a little bit above the eye line, you know? So that's just a rule of thumb. When you're hanging pendant lights, you can hang them a little bit higher, like 36 inches, depending on that surface, depending on how you use the space, depending on its placement. And let's talk about this placement. You want to try to center it over the space, over the surface, sorry, that you're placing it, right? It needs to be at center, because if it's off center, then it's going to look off. You're going to walk into that space and it's going to look off, right? So, like I said, there are multiple different type of pendant lights out there. They're very inexpensive and they're very easy to change out in your space. So if you have been thinking about it, or you have been looking at your kitchen, that's where you see pendant lights a lot. You see them in your kitchen. And if you've been trying to update your kitchen, that's a very inexpensive way to update your kitchen, is with some new pendant lights. Also, if you're thinking on updating your bedroom, you can use some pendant light. Now, if you don't already have pendant light, you don't already have the electrical in your ceiling, of course, you're going to have to bring someone in to add that for you. But if you want to update that space, pendant lights is it. Okay? Now, architectural lighting. I told you guys that we we're going to get back to that, right? So for architectural lighting, this is more so, like you will see this more so in those high-end residentials. You wouldn't normally see it in like a house like mine's, right? But if you want to create drama in your ceiling, if you want to create drama on your walls, I would say do some architectural lighting. But more so, you will kind of more so see architectural lighting on the commercial side versus residential. And like I say, for residential, it will be one of those high-end properties that you would see it in there. But I do think that they do not make a space feel homey. So if you're looking for a homey look, then I would not advise to use architectural lighting. But it is an option. You can make it work, but just know that it creates a lot of drama and it brings a lot of attention to its surface. So if you want your focal point to be down here, it's going to end up there because of the drama that was created with the architectural lighting. Another way with architectural lighting is that you can put it into tray ceilings. So if you have a tray ceiling that has the alcove in there, you can add the architectural lighting where it will glare up onto the ceiling and create drama again. Okay, so those are some ways that you can use architectural lighting. It can become very expensive to install architectural lighting. Okay, let's get back now to recessed lighting. So recessed lighting, recessed cans, it's all the same, right? So recessed lighting, there are different type of recessed lighting. If you're building a new home, then the box for the top of the recess is higher. But when you're doing renovations, like I did in mine, they're normally like 4 inches in height. Those are the ones you want, because it will get, if you now have the space to put it into the ceiling. They come in different sizes. You can have the 4-inch, you can have the 6-inch, like they're different sizes. You can have a 2-inch, like they're small. You can have like the small ones, right? But what they do is they take up less visual space. That's the beauty of recessed lighting. So they're just there, they're providing the ambient lighting that you need, and they take up less visual space. They do a lot for a space. They make your space feel very clean, meaning the design is clean. You don't have stuff hanging all over the place from the ceiling, or you don't need extra light in the ceiling or extra lights hanging from the ceiling if you're going to use recessed cans, because the recessed can is going to give you the coverage that you're looking for to eliminate your space, right? So recessed cans is a very, very, very good choice, and it's a very popular choice as well. Nothing wrong with them. The old ones used to look, you know, and they could turn like yellowish like these because of the heat from the bulb. But the new ones that are out now, they look very modern, very clean line, very contemporary. They don't again, give up much visual space up in your ceiling, and they are awesome choice. They are very easy to install, but you will need an electrician to get those installed, okay? But also, depending on the size of the room that you're putting them in, you need to ensure two things. The distance between each are correct, and that you just they don't place them all over and make it look messy. They need to have some kind of formation when you're installing recessed cans. If you just randomly place them all over in the ceiling, that's exactly how they're gonna look, very random. Okay? And I don't think an electrician is gonna come in and do that. They're gonna tell you, we need to line these up somehow. Whether you line them up diagonally or horizontally, vertically, they need to line up. Okay? And then the distance between each, that depends. I can't tell you what distance to put because that will be dependent on the space that you're putting them in. Okay? Okay, guys, so let's talk about these chandeliers. So chandeliers brings luxury. If you want to bring something luxury into your space, definitely do it with a beautiful chandelier. Another thing I should have spoke about, but I didn't, and I'm going to include it right here, is chandeliers. Now, I have a chandelier in my space, and I just love it. I wanted to move away from the glam, but what I decided to do, because I know I like a little bit of glam, and I know what glam can do to a space that's very neutral like this, is that it can enhance that space, is I added glam in my light fixtures where I could. So, in my living room, I have a chandelier. What is a chandelier, Judith? Well, I'm glad you asked. A chandelier is a chandelier that has a fan attached to it. So it's called a chandelier. So most chandeliers have a lot of embellishments on it. Like you may have crystals or beads or, just stuff hanging from it. That's a chandelier. It brings a lot of drama to your ceiling. It brings a lot of luxury to your ceiling, okay? So that is what a chandelier is. It's very captivating. The design of it is very captivating. Like you will be sitting in the living room and you cannot help but look up at the chandelier. Okay? And the thing that I love about these chandeliers now is that the blade retracts. So you can have a chandelier where the blade does not retract. But if you want sometimes to just show off your chandelier, then there's no blades showing, just like mine's, right? Or when my blades are out spinning, my blades are acrylic. So they're clear acrylic. So you still don't see them, right? So that's the beauty about chandeliers, right? Like now, like they have become so fancy and I just love them, okay? Okay, let's get back to under-counter lighting. So these, now you have so much choices. You have remote control. You have battery operated. You have censored ones. Like you have LEDs. Like you have so much options now with under-counter lightings. And they're so affordable now. Like guys, this, if you don't invest in no type of lighting that I just mentioned in this video, invest in under-counter lightings, okay? I will link the ones that I use in my house. I use them everywhere. These don't require any wiring besides the wire they come with to connect them back to each other. I've even used them in my pantry when I took this closet and turned it into a pantry, and I didn't want to pay for an electrician to come and put more lighting in there. I added one up in that ceiling, and I go in there and I can flick it on and flick it off. I will show you. But there are some more streamlined ones that you can definitely use. They're very, very easy to install. Okay, very easy to install. They're very important to have because you want as much lighting as you can have in your kitchen. They bring ambiance to the kitchen counter along with their bring accent to the kitchen, okay? You want to be able to see your essentials like your knives and stuff. You don't want to get cut with a knife. Like you need on the counter lighting. They're very, very important. They're very easy. They're very inexpensive. These are a must buy. Out of everything I've mentioned to you, these are a must buy. Some of them, you just stick a magnet on there, you clip it on, boop, she ready to go. Okay, like you have to get under counter lightings. Like you just have to get them. Don't ask me no questions. I'm not glad you asked. Just get them. Guys, let's talk about these wall sconces. Now, there's this favorite YouTuber of mine. I love her to death. And she was trying to describe these lights. And I'm over here on this side saying, wall sconce. It's a wall sconce. Wall sconce. You would think that she could hear me, right? But I was over here saying, wall sconce. It's a wall sconce. And she was like, what's the name again? I don't remember what the name is. What these things name again? I'm over here, wall sconce. Wall sconce. Wall sconce. So wall sconces, guys. Again, with wall sconces, you can literally get these battery operated. Who would believe? You just attach them to the wall and they're battery operated. You have your remote. Who would know? You know what I'm saying? So guys, wall sconces is an accent lighting. You can place these throughout your home. You can place these going down your staircase. Place them on each side of your vanity mirror. Like wall sconces are accent lighting. They bring interest to any space that you put them in. So that's basically what they do. They're very inexpensive. And again, if you want them wired, then you need an electrician to install that wiring for you if you didn't already have wiring there. But again, I did say that they are battery operated ones available on the market as well. And those, you can definitely install those yourself. And they even have the motion censored ones. So when you're coming down your stairs, your lights will just be coming on as you come down the stairs. You can use them in your bedroom as well over your nightstands. So wall sconces is another lighting that I would say to check out and see where you can use those in your space. I'm not going to go over portable lightings because I think I said a lot on those. So you know, guys, the portable lightings is definitely a light that don't have any cords. And you can move it around as you please. And there's so many different ones, right? Okay, so let's talk about how to measure your space to decide what size light you need to put in that space, right? So let's say you have a space, you measure the length of your space and then the width of the space. So let's say your space is 10 foot long by 15 foot wide. You're going to add those two together. So 10 plus 15 is 25. So the size of the light that you want to put into your space should be at least 25 inches in diameter, in length, in width. That's what it should be, 25 inches. So that should be your rule of thumb. You can take off 5 inches off of that and you can add 5 inches to it. That's the rule of thumb that we use to know if a light is going to be the right scale for a space. Okay, guys, so let's talk about the type of lighting that you want in different type of spaces. And then this is going to be our last. So lastly, guys, let's talk about the type of, or the color temperature of the lighting that you would want in a space. Now, if you have, let's go with the kitchen, because normally kitchens would have like a kitchenette inside it as well, or maybe a kitchen may be open up to a living room, right? So, and then you want to select, like say your under counter lighting, and then you have pendant lighting, if you have recessed cans. So you have all of this going on inside of a kitchen. What you want to ensure is that the temperature of the light that you're using, the lights that you're using are the same or extremely close. So if you have in your ceiling, your recessed cans are 3000 lumens, you want to ensure that your under counter lights are also 3000. You also want to make sure that the bulbs that you're using in your pendant is 3000. Everything needs to be the same. If each space is seen from each other, meaning you have an open floor plan, all of your lighting on that floor, meaning that level of your home, should be the same. In your bathrooms, you can change it. In your bathrooms, you want more of a brighter light, like say a 4K and up, right? The reason why you want a brighter light, because in the bathroom is where you normally get dressed or put your makeup on. So you need that lighting to be as close to natural light as possible. So that's why it would change in there. Now, to have white light, let's explain what the temperature of light does to a space. So if you have more of a warm palette in a space, but you put white lights in there, it will completely change the mood of the space. Trust me, I guarantee it. It will change the mood of your space. Be extremely careful when you're selecting lighting for your spaces. If you want to create a mood, if you want it to be very relaxing, you do not want white lights throughout a space. You want to stick more with the warmer tone lights, like I mentioned earlier, the 3000. You want to stick with that. The lowest I would go would be like say 27. 27 can start to get very yellow, but you want to stick with those type of lighting because your space is not going to look moody. It's not going to feel moody. It will look very blah, and you'll be looking at different elements into the space and thinking that, oh, I don't think that works. I don't think. No, it's your lighting. If you change your lighting, you will see how these different pieces will work together. So your lighting in a space is very, very crucial, and it must be right. If your lighting isn't right, your space is not going to look right, and you may be there changing things out, spending a lot of money, and not realizing all you needed to do was change a bulb. Okay, guys, so that's it for today's video. I hope you guys got a lot of education out of this, and I hope you guys go and try some of these things out. Walk through your spaces, check your bulbs, check your fixtures, see if you have the right fixture in your space, see if your fixture is the right size, see if it's hanging too low or too high. I have definitely seen that. I saw that the other day on YouTube, and I was like, yeah, I gotta add that to this. Like, why is that fixture so high? It's a pendant. It's a pendant light. Why is it hanging so high above its surface, right? So guys, definitely do some of these things in your space, and let's have a conversation down in the comments. Tell me what you guys thought about this video, this type of content, and also let me know which one of these you may be trying or you already have incorporated into your home and how you feel about it. Is it working for you? And if not, come on, let's change some stuff up and let's start making our houses a home. Guys, see you on my next upload, and I hope you guys are pressing forward. Bye.
I was just a child, my mother was praying the world be different.